Welcome to another edition of Islanders Insider, as we come to you from the locker room once again here on the campus of Texas A&M University Corpus Christi. We're going to talk some Islander men's basketball with head coach Willis Wilson, and we'll talk Islanders baseball with head coach Scott Malone. He'll be joining us in just a few moments. Right now, though, let's talk some hoops with the head coach, Willis Wilson. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Well, Coach, unfortunately, the season has officially come to a close with a tight 4-point second-round loss to Kent State in the CIT here in Corpus Christi. Before we get into that game, there's plenty to talk about. We can't forget that you picked up an impressive 6-point win on the road to start the CIT at Florida Gulf Coast. Now, that game in Florida was probably one of the most complete games of the season with strong performances, clutch plays up and down.
Yeah, without question, it's amazing. The last 3 games of the year really were mirror images of each other. The difference in the Florida Gulf Coast game was that we were able to make some shots and make some plays. The great news is that we've constantly and consistently been able to put ourselves in position to win. The bad news is we came up short in the conference tournament. We came up short against Kent, but the outing at Florida Gulf Coast was really a lot of fun, and it was a real confidence booster, not just for this team but for the program, to be able to go into an environment where there's a very hostile crowd in a postseason game in late March. You know, that's why kids play college basketball. They want to play late into the season. They want an opportunity to go to postseason, and so that was a really significant win for our program. And to be able to do that 2 years in a row, where we go on the road and get a postseason win, it's an accomplishment and a milestone for the program.
Let's get into Monday night's game against Kent State. Started off really well. 10-0 start to get things going, got the crowd kind of riled up. Did you have to remind your players to stay sharp and don't get overconfident, because eventually they're going to throw a few haymakers back at you?
Yeah, and it's a challenging situation. Something that really was noted in the locker room in the post game was that we just don't have a lot of guys that have been to this point before. And sometimes you have to have a few veterans on your roster that have been here before that can say, all right, guys, let's calm down. Let's keep our focus. Let's keep our foot on the gas. And I thought our guys did that for the most part, but it's still a learning experience. And I thought we played extremely well, played extremely hard. Kent State's a great basketball program, not to mention they're a really good team. And when I say great program, I think they've been to postseason, have won 20 games, 15 out of the last 17 years. And so anytime you're facing a program that's that accomplished, they're going to make runs, especially this time of year. All teams are good. There are no bad teams in postseason.
No doubt. Now, Bryce Duvier finished the season averaging 16.5 points over those final 2 contests in the CIT. Tell me about the post performances like Bryce Duvier and Rashawn Thomas.
Well, when you look at those guys, their futures are definitely ahead of them. Bryce is a guy that's just now figuring it out and coming into his own. His level of confidence at the end of the year really just soared, and a lot of his success is triggered by what he does on the glass and on the backboards. But he came out firing the last couple ball games and really gave us a boost of confidence. I'm really looking forward to his senior campaign and what he can do for our program going forward. Rashawn Thomas' case, I think Rashawn got a little bit tired down the stretch. Nagged by injuries all year long. He really did a good job of fighting through that and playing through that. A guy that was getting double teamed every night of every game by every opponent. I can't imagine that there are more than a handful of guys across the country that saw the double teams that he saw this year. And for that to happen as a sophomore, number one, it's a credit to him and really how he impacts the game. And number two, it's something that he's going to have to prepare for in the future. And we're going to really work at expanding his game and broaden his game so that he can combat those double teams going forward in his career. He's a guy that's got a lot of basketball left in an Islander uniform. And with those two guys being a great nucleus along with Hamid Ali, we've got a really bright future ahead.
No doubt. Bryce and Rashawn are 2 guys that are going to hope to see what they saw last night. And what I'm getting at is that was clearly the best atmosphere we had in the American Bank Center this season. Great, engaged, enthusiastic crowd.
You know, a lot of new faces in the building, a lot of people exciting. It really got loud in the Bank Center. It was an atmosphere that oozed big time Division I basketball, and hopefully those people will come back. They'll join join the bandwagon and be a big part of our future going forward. We've got a chance to really make some hay, but you have to have a home court advantage, and we're beginning to see that with the turnout of the crowd, and especially the last handful of games this season, but in particularly last night.
Well, let's talk about John Jordan. Finished his career by leaving it on the court once again. In the finale, 14 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, only 1 turnover. His final memories for the fans, the steal in the backcourt for that quick slam dunk that just happened lightning fast. And, of course, the racing coast to coast with 4 seconds remaining in the first half for the lay-in at the buzzer. Both just absolutely unforgettable plays.
Yeah, and we're going to miss John. John has meant so much to this program. People that have seen him play and seen his development have watched him go from a young man in adolescence to being a real man and a real player. And we've outlined all of his accolades with his records and being all conference and all those sorts of things. But the truth of the matter is, folks really don't know what he's meant to this program. Internally, when you see how he is in the locker room, you see the encouragement that he provides for the young guys and the leadership that he's provided, the way he's done it with class, the way he's taken time for people in the community. I couldn't be more proud of John Jordan, and he's a guy that I just really have a soft spot in my heart for him and really have a lot of love for him, and he's a guy that we're going to really, really miss. But he's left an unbelievable legacy to this program.
One last question, Coach, as we look to the future without John Jordan. What's ahead for Islander basketball?
Well, we lose John, first-team All-League player, but he's going to be replaced with Hamid Ali back in the fold. And in addition to that, we've got a young man from Canada coming in, Kareem South. And for my dollar, I thought Kareem was a high major point guard that really got overlooked by some folks. And at the very end, there were a lot of people tugging on his strings trying to convince him not to go here because he could be a high-level Division I point guard. And so I think we've outkicked our coverage in recruiting him. When you add him to the fold, bringing Hamid back with a lot of the young guys that we have in this program, I think we're going to be a tremendously talented team, a very experienced team with so many kids in that junior class that will be seniors next year. It's going to be a fun team to coach. We got our work to do over the summer here and in the off season, but I couldn't be more excited about the way we've set ourselves up. We've got to take care of business. We've got to get a little lucky. We've been nagged by injuries the last couple of years. When you look at the top teams in our league, they've really been injury free for the most part. And so if we can get a little lucky in that area, and even if we don't, we should be a better basketball team, and we really should make a run and knock on that door to win this conference championship and get to the NCAAs.
We look forward to those future days coming up. Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Willis Wilson joining us once again here in the locker room. When we come back, we have a special feature on an Islander men's basketball player, sophomore Emmanuel Toney. That's coming up in just a moment on Islanders Insider.
The Southland Conference is 4,200 student athletes from 13 member institutions, competing in 17 NCAA Division I sports. We are Southland Strong.
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, we have a special feature focusing on Islanders sophomore basketball player Emmanuel Toney.
Sophomore Emmanuel Toney has been a key player for the Islanders this season. Heading into the year, Toney earned a scholarship after coming to the team as a walk-on his freshman year.
Manny is an incredibly hard worker. Maybe more important than that, he is a team guy. He really exemplifies character, toughness, and talent. He really buys into that theme and buys into the way we're trying to do things and the way we want to build this program. And to his credit, he put in a lot of work in the offseason. He really put the time in.
I told myself that it wouldn't be the same as last year, that I would progress. Even if that didn't mean getting a scholarship, but I would progress and get on the floor and do what I could to help my team. And if that meant not playing, then I was willing to do that. But it is kind of crazy to think from a walk-on to a starter. It's just a blessing.
While Toney isn't a player who consistently puts up points, the reason he has been able to excel at this level is that he knows his role on the team of playing lockdown defense and providing energy.
I think I think guys like Emmanuel Tony exist on really good teams. On teams that tend to struggle, you don't find guys that are willing to make sacrifices and not put up the stats. On really good teams, there's always a guy who's a facilitator, a guy that just gets it. He understands the importance of playing and providing energy and being a spark plug, so to speak. And he's really embraced that role, and I couldn't be more proud of him and happier for him.
Man, it's really rare. You know, he just accepts his role to the fullest capability. It's crazy. I rarely see that, and you know, it's just big time for our team. It just shows the discipline we have.
After only playing 5 minutes his freshman year to starting 24 games during this season, it has been a drastic turnaround for Tony.
You think that it's a short season while you're playing, but when you're sitting down game after game, you know, it's pretty tough to have that energy at the end of the bench and be that competitive when you're not playing. So, you know, it's just a newfound appreciation for guys like him, David, and Paul. You know, we click a little bit better now.
He made it real clear that he was willing to earn everything he was able to keep, and there was nothing promised to him, only the understanding that we really treat everybody the same way, whether you're a walk-on or whether you're a scholarship guy. He really bought into that. He really made a commitment to the program, made a commitment to me, and as a result, he was able to earn a scholarship when a scholarship became available. And once he got the scholarship, I think the thing that says a lot about his character is the fact that he never relented, never let his foot off the gas.
Tony takes great pride in the effort he puts into conditioning drills, always striving to be the best in no matter what the drill. Besides just helping him, it pushes his teammates to do better as well.
When he challenges you, because he doesn't only win, he talks about him winning. So, you know, we got a lot of prideful guys on the team, so it does push us to the fullest potential.
I've always been like that. Even since high school, I've always been the guy that would come in first on sprints or suicides, because my dad always taught me that, or instilled in me that, like, even if you're even with somebody, like, if you can outwork them, then you'll be a step ahead of them. So whenever I do that, I'm just like, I don't care how good I am or where I'm at, I still want to always be able to outwork anybody that I play with or play against or compete with.
The defining moment of Tony's career thus far came on homecoming against Sam Houston State in a play that truly exemplifies Emmanuel Tony.
I mean, it was a great moment. It was a great moment, especially for him. Just, you know, it just showed last homecoming game he didn't play not 1 minute, and now he starts and makes the biggest play of the game like that. And we do appreciate it more because we know where he was last year. So when he does something amazing like that, you know, he gets a lot of respect from us. And then it's like, man, that's a man-man play. You know, he makes those plays a lot.
Aside from falling, it was it was good. It was, I don't know, it just felt like it was like a picture-perfect moment, kind of. And it was really exciting. I was really hyped. Even though it hurt, it was just, I look at it now, I'm just like, I wouldn't take it back.
For Islanders Insider, I'm Teddy Medina. We'll be right back.
GoIslanders.com is your source for Texas A&M Corpus Christi athletics. From live stats to live video to all the latest news, GoIslanders.com has everything to keep you up to date on all the latest on your favorite Islanders team. On the road, the Islanders Front Row app brings you live stats, video, and news right on your mobile device. Check out Islanders schedules and statistics and learn more about the student athletes at the Island University. Get tickets, Islanders game day gear, and more by clicking your way to GoIslanders.com today. Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, we're talking some Islanders baseball with the head coach of the program, Coach Scott Malone. Coach, how are you?
Stephen, great to be here.
Appreciate you joining us. Most recently, your team returned to Chapman Field for a 3-game series against Southeastern Louisiana. This series, like so many others, was affected by weather, having to move things up, play a doubleheader on Friday, rain out on Saturday, move it to Sunday. Now, has the rain and the missed games legitimately affected your team's progress this season? I think you missed 6 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we're 4 behind for sure right now, which is 36 innings, which when you look at it, you know, that's a lot of at-bats for some guys to get comfortable, to kind of get their role established. It's a lot of innings for a lot of kids on our team to, again, get comfortable, figure out kind of what they can do well, their strengths, their weaknesses, settle into some roles. So that's a little bit of a concern. And I like playing everybody. I like getting my guys on the field so we figure out what we have and where our strengths are. And so it set us back a little bit. But again, it's, you know, at the end of the day, you just got to go out and play better.
Understood. Considering the difficult weather conditions, What has the workload been like on the unsung heroes of baseball? And I'm talking about the grounds crew.
Oh man, those guys are killing it. You know, somebody said to me the other night when we finished up that 3-game series, all the rain we've gotten, the tarp on, tarp off, over and over again, our field looks immaculate. Chapman Field looks as good as it ever has. So Eric Ortiz and his staff, off the charts. You know, those guys might be our team MVP the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Those guys have done a great job.
No doubt. Now back to the series against Southeastern Louisiana. Now, strictly looking at the numbers, errors seem to be the significant contributors to the series loss. There did seem to be a couple of moments where an error extended an inning, which led to a couple extra runs, which in the end ultimately probably was a difference.
You know, I think you touched on it, right on it. Before the series started, you see both teams on paper, and Southeast looked really good. Highest batting average in the league, talented starting pitching. But what we talked about before the series, the biggest difference maker might be Chapman Field. We play so well, it can be difficult to defend. Sometimes our infield plays a lot faster than other surfaces in our league. Our outfield is very expansive with a tough right field, and we discussed it as a group. This has got to be our biggest advantage on the weekend, and it flipped on us. You know, we made more errors than them in all 3 games, which shocked me. And that's probably the tail of the tape right there, was our inability to defend Chapman Field, which was a big surprise to the players, to the coaches. And we still had chances to overcome it. We just couldn't really get that big hit. And starting pitching was outstanding. Matt Danton was great. Trevor Belichick was great, dominant for 5 innings. And, you know, obviously, I would tell you more than us falling apart. I thought Southeast really stayed with it and jumped us in the 6th, 7th inning of those games and came back late and got us. And, you know, it's a sign of a good club, and we'll learn from it and we'll get better.
No doubt. You started talking about pitching. I was going to ask you about that. How would you assess the pitching performances throughout the season thus far? Have they grown? I mean, go ahead and with the starters and, of course, the relievers.
Sure. Starters have been solid. Matt Danton, Trevor Belichick, I'll put those 2 up against anybody else's 1-2 starters in our league. Those guys have been good. We're going to have a chance to win every time they throw. Still working on that 3rd slot between Devin Scapira, Garrett Harris, you know, the new guy who's come in and shown a little flash, but somebody's got to step up and give us some consistent, solid outings in that 3rd slot. Turning over to the pen, for the most part, they've been okay. I think my expectations may have been really high with Doris, Langreeby, Keith all coming back, the emergence of Nolan Holland. Those guys have been fine. We've needed them to be, you know, A+ and lights out, and, you know, we've gotten a B+ out of them. But again, I feel like the more we play, Stephen, and, you know, the more we start putting some wins together, that whole pitching staff will get more confidence, and I think those guys will step up and be the strength of our club.
Now, senior right fielder Kyle Danford has kind of been an RBI machine this season. If I'm looking at this correctly, he currently has 22 RBIs in 20 games, while the conference leader from Sam Houston State has 23 RBIs in 24 games. So many more at-bat opportunities. Now, last season, he had 34 RBI in 53 games. Do you attribute his success to just hard work and confidence, or the fact that there are just a lot of guys getting in scoring position for him along the way?
Man, I think it's confidence. He's the guy you want up there. He's the guy who's going to get the big at-bat. He's the guy who can take the bright lights, the pressure, the big situation, step back, take a deep breath, and relax and go give you his best swing, a great competitive at-bat. He's the kid who's gotten the biggest RBIs when we've needed them. So he's definitely the guy we want up there in a big spot. And his whole game's been great. The RBIs jump off the stat page, but he's played a great right field. He's got the best throwing arm on the team. He's stealing bases. You know, he's doing a lot of things. He's really had a great senior year for us so far.
Baseball definitely is loaded with a lot of ups and downs. Now, we started off hot this season, but recently experienced the setback. You know, what can you and your staff do to bring a team out of a downtime? Is it focus on instructional work, or is it more of a psychological thing?
You know, I just think it's just keeping the ship going in the right direction, doing things right. You know, I read something from Joe Madden today when he talked about trying to create magic, trying to create momentum. You just got to do the basics at a high level, and everything else will come together. And I think when you look back at the weekend, Stephen, that's what Southeast did well. They didn't make very many errors. Their pitchers threw strikes, and you lose 3 games, and you look at it. Wow, they did this, they did that. those guys just played solid baseball for 3 days, and they let the good stuff happen for them, you know. So we just got to get back to playing good, clean baseball, great pitching, great defense, and all that stuff will come. Will come with it.
Well, an old nemesis is coming in town this weekend. Stephen F. Austin, Coach Cardenas, they roll in for a 3-game set. They're a little down, coming in 2-6 in league play. Is this, well, in this really strong baseball league, does that mean much? Because it can change in an instant.
Sure. No, the script can flip. And, if you look at the Southland as a whole this past weekend, boy, everything was upside down. The bottom was beating the top. But, the biggest thing that jumps out at me this weekend is let's mic everybody up, because Coach Cardenas and Coach Malone are two of the most animated guys in the league. That
would be entertaining.
It's going to be a fun weekend. He and I have a great relationship. We get along really well, but once the game starts, everybody's competing for 9 innings trying to get a win. So it's going to be a fun weekend for sure.
No doubt. Coach, best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Stephen.
Scott Malone joining us here in the locker room. When we come back, I'll bring you up to speed on what's next for Islanders Athletics. More to come on Islanders Insider.
Healthcare never sleeps. It's constantly changing. Hello. It's not a desk job. I'm on my feet all day.
This is Trevor 3 East.
I'm Trevor Bonzer, and I'm a nurse manager at Christus Spawn Shoreline. The faculty at A&M Corpus Christi, you see the passion in their teaching. They will challenge you, and they will motivate you. They want you to succeed.
Named a top Texas university for return on investment. Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Discover your island. Visit us for Island Day at islandday.tamucc.edu.
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. Let's look ahead to what's next for Islanders Athletics. Islander baseball will hit the diamond at Chapman Field March 27th through the 29th with a 3-game series against Stephen F. Austin. The Friday matchup starts at 6, Saturday at 3, and Sunday at 1 p.m. March 31st, Islander baseball will head out on the road to the University of Texas. That is a 6 o'clock start time and will be featured on the Longhorn Network. And on April 2nd through the 4th, the Islanders will travel to Beaumont, Texas to take on the Lamar Cardinals. Islander softball will start a 3-game series as well this weekend against Stephen F. Austin. Friday, March 27th, there will be a doubleheader starting at 1 o'clock, and Saturday, March 28th, the solo game will start at 12 noon. April 3rd and 4th, we'll see the Islanders go back on the road to Huntsville, Texas for a 3-game series against Sam Houston State. Islander women's tennis will have 2 home conference matches coming up. On Friday, March 27th versus McNeese at 5 p.m. at the Thomas J. Henry Tennis Center. Then on Sunday, March 29th, a 1 o'clock start at the Henry Center against Nichols. From that point, they'll head on the road on Friday, April 3rd to face Sam Houston State at 12 noon. And then Saturday, April 4th, they'll travel to Beaumont to take on Lamar at 1 p.m. Islander men's tennis will be on the road Saturday, March 28th and 29th. On the 28th, they'll be in Houston, Texas to take on Louisiana Lafayette. And on the 29th, they'll take on George Washington. Both matches start at 12 noon. On Monday, March 30th, they'll return to the Thomas J. Henry Tennis Center to take on Nichols at 11 o'clock in Southland Conference play. Islander women's golf will head out on the road to Houston, Texas for the HBU Husky Invitational. That's Monday, March 30th and Tuesday, March 31st. And Islander track and field will continue their season in Houston, Texas on Friday, April 3rd and Saturday, April 4th as they participate in the Bayou Classic. Once again, we want to thank head coaches Willis Wilson of Islander men's basketball and head coach Scott Malone of Islander baseball for joining us in the locker room once again. Most importantly, we thank you for tuning in. I'm Stephen King. For everyone here, you've been watching Islanders Insider.